influence for a script can come from many different places. A novel, short story, board game, you name it. But one of the most popular sources of inspiration for stories has got to be history. In other words, time itself. And time, in the most literal sense, is the driving force behind the story of the Grand Rapids Players' latest production, Melanie Marnich's These Shining Lives, the true story of the women known as the Radium Girls. The play follows the life of Catherine Donahue, a young wife and mother, as she embarks on a new career in the 1920s Ottawa, Illinois. A watch company had recently opened its doors in the small town, and women were lining up to be watch face painters, using the newest wonder material, radium, to make the watches glow in the dark. Not to mention, it was one of the best paying jobs a woman could get. It's there where Catherine meets her new friends, Charlotte, Pearl, and Frances. The four soon become fast friends, and the world seems perfect. Until they begin to come down with some mysterious illnesses. Could it be work-related? The management, company doctors, and even the community at large say that it can't possibly be. But all the watch painters are suspiciously getting sick with similar symptoms, so someone must be wrong. Or maybe even lying. Given the horrific history of the Radium Girls, which is even darker than the play goes into, it could have been easy to present them as merely victims. The fact that Marnich chose to focus on the strength and empowerment of these women is what helps make this story stand out. Although Marnich, a Duluth native and award-winning screenwriter, producer, and playwright, took some artistic liberties to help create a more cohesive story, by and large, she remains true to history. When Marie and Pierre Curie discovered radium at the turn of the century, it was originally believed to be a miracle substance for treating cancer. And by the early 1900s and throughout the Roaring '20s, a radium frenzy seized the world. It was in just about everything. Tonic water, creams, ointments, toothpaste, lipstick, you name it. Dr. Sabin von Schosky studied radium extensively under the Curies to explore its benefits for cancer. It was during this time that he developed the luminous paint substance Undark. It was also during this time that he and the Curies discovered the horrifying effects of radium. However, when his paint started being used for the radium dial watches, the business proved to be so lucrative that he abandoned his research and turned his focus towards profit. These watches were patriotically marketed towards our soldiers fighting in the trenches, but the method of manufacturing them was criminal. The company instructed the workers to use a lip dip paint routine, where the girls would swirl the paintbrushes between their lips to achieve a fine point, dip it in the radium, and then paint. Lip, dip, paint, repeat. Every day, for years. When the dangers became undeniable, Dr. Sabin and the other founders of Radium Dial provided safety guidelines to the upper management, but otherwise continued to conceal the dangers both from the general public and from the women ingesting the radium paint. Worse still, when the women began getting sick and questioned the company, they denied the dangers and even promoted its positive health benefits. The company had opened 2 sites and employed over 3,000 women over the years. Most were hired on at the age of 15 and had no more than a 3rd grade education. They were the daughters of immigrants and lower middle-class merchants, and many were working to help supplement the family's income. So between the high wages and the prestigious viewpoint of the job position, the women were not prone to question the company. That is, until Catherine and her friends got sick. In addition to the morbidly fascinating history, another thing that makes this production stand out is the across-the-board female representation. Not only does the show focus on these real-life women, but is also written and directed by a woman. But it doesn't stop there. All 3 of the businesses underwriting the show, Clockout Brewing Company, Unwind Up North, and Smoke on the Water, are woman-owned businesses. This play also marks the first straight drama the Grand Rapids Players have taken on in 8 years. With a focus more on comedies and musicals, the community theater organization is stretching its artistic wings with this play. It's a show that is guaranteed to make you laugh, cry, and leave the theater feeling inspired. These Shining Lives, directed by Rochelle Randall, opens on Friday, September 15th at the Rife Center in Grand Rapids and is funded in part through the Minnesota State Arts Board. For tickets and date info, visit grplayers.com.